Sanqi, you're CTO of Products and Solutions at Huawei, and you gave a talk this morning, a keynote at Strata Hadoop World here in Singapore. And in there you had this framework that you showed of data, a data framework that you guys are using in your telco business. Can you explain why that sort of framework is important at this point in time?
Okay. Yeah. First of all, if you look at Huawei in telco business, right? Telco business, not just the network operations, and also the network infrastructures. Okay. And then you also talk about how to transform the telco business, creating new value propositions rather than the traditional voice calls. What are the value propositions in the IoT area, for instance, where the connectivity is like 100 billions of connections. And from all these, data analytics, especially the big data analytics, play the fundamental critical role. You talk about real time, you talk about optimize your network resources, adapt to the demand, okay, improve the user experiences, and from the quality of the deliveries and so on. All these are critical and enabled by the big data analytics. Okay, and today I have the opportunity to further explain the telco specific need. Okay, if you look at the network infrastructures, telco, people just see the servers, the storage, the router, the switches. Actually, the network infrastructure, if you look at where these devices are stored, there are POPs, there are hubs, there are local exchanges, there are core network, metro, access. There are hundreds of thousands of the locations where, and will become more cloud oriented as the network becomes cloud oriented, right? So how do you
or in the world
optimize
becomes cloud oriented?
Yes.
Yes, because all the devices, the IoT,
Yes, exactly. And then if you look at next 10 years, right? The last 10, 20 years, you mainly connect, especially in the mobile world, you connect with human to the human, or human to the machine, to the web. But the next 10 years, you see, people talk about 100 billions of IoT devices. Machines, right? They become digitized, impact every business sector in the industry, get connected.
So does this data framework, is it more of a diagnostic framework, or is it more of a predictive framework? Is it the combination of both?
It's a combination.
Yeah.
It's a combination, because you do have like our architecture, what I described, right? You leverage the open source development, like Hadoops, like Spark. You have a streaming, you have a post analysis, batch analysis. You have all the learning algorithms together, okay, and it's all event driven. All these things. How do you put these things together? Okay, especially it's a migration. In the telco business, same as IT infrastructure, you do have the legacy infrastructure from IT, from network devices perspective. How do you migrate and integrate and consolidate into this unified big data engine, rather than continually, fragment, siloed from business, from product, traditionally vertical, siloed, to more horizontal. And then you leverage this shared economy, shared data to enable the services.
And this is all because of data now.
Yes.
And that's almost freeing kind of the machines, kind of where we're going to go in the future.
Right.
So you mentioned, and in the framework, most of those were open source tools. Is open source a big component of your data strategy and Huawei's strategy going forward?
Yes, the open source community, especially in the big data world, has been taking a great momentum. We, Huawei, actually initially built our big data analytic team in Silicon Valley. Okay, we recruit Santa Clara, yes, and we recruit talents from company like Yahoo, Google, and others. And then we quickly engage with the local community in the big data. And that's why in early days, we set up our overall strategy for big data analytics on the basis of the open source. Okay, and we quickly build around our capability, and we learn from the community, okay, by the active participation and contribution. At the same time, we build our own capability. And we have a quick learning curve thanks for the rapid development of the open source community. And then we build our own capability, we contribute, and then we can get more involved on the business side to identify the critical missing pieces, right? And then we contribute back. So this is why, when I recall in 2010, we had our first 2 committers to HBase in Hadoop communities. And then since then, we constantly add more resources to contribute, to evolve, to learn from the open source community. That's what we quickly able to build our own skill and talent pool. And then we also work with the Berkeley, University of UC Berkeley, the M Labs, right? And then we also quickly identify, and through our engagement, learning and the importance of the Spark and differentiations. That's why we also integrate the whole things together, and we contribute. Over the last few years, we have been constantly in the top 3 or top 5 of the contributor.
And I think in Asia you might be one or something.
Oh yeah. We definitely, yes. If you look at in Asia, we're definitely #1. Yeah, if you look at the contribution from Patch, from the key contributions, and the key contributions we take more programmatic approach. So we given the customer engagement, we identify the issues from performance, from storage, from the query time, and so on, and we developed the related algorithms, and the rules and tools, and we contributed back to the community.
And then most recently, you have an HBase type thing that you open sourced last summer, and you have Light OS coming.
Right.
You've got quite a few projects that Huawei is now also putting into
open source. You mentioned a very important point. It's we are not, so far we just talked about open source strategy related to big data, but not only in the big data.
IoT.
In the IoT, in the cloud, right? We are very involved in the early stage since beginning in the OpenStack, on the infrastructure platform, in the SDN, software-defined network controller world, and even in the platform, the Cloud Foundry platform world, and more so in the Docker containers, microservices technology area. And this is where we see the new technology quickly emerging and consolidate among the industry. And we certainly benefit. And we believe this is the way we are committed and we contribute as well.
If we fast forward 12 months from now, we have this conversation next year, the first week in December here in Singapore, we have a conversation. What will change for Huawei over that 12 months?
Change from strategy or from product
your
solutions?
Data strategy, your data products.
The data strategy is very clear. So we are we also, if you just look at this conference, there were several talks given by Huawei talking about learning algorithms, how to work on the Spark for all the streaming activity in open source communities, where we develop a lot of new deep learning algorithms. We contribute back to the societies. Okay, and also we have been working more towards the new technology areas. Okay, there will be some of things new will be announced soon. We contribute, for instance, some of the new format, okay, a native Hadoop format, and which will able to use the edge base for optimized analytics on basis of Spark. There are more and more coming in. And we also learn a lot of new emerging things. Tachyon technology, for instance, and so on. So we rapidly engage with the community, we adopt them into our product, and engage with our customers, and build a solution. And so it's adaptiveness, robustness, okay, from the technology, open source initiatives, contributions to product through the customer engagement to close this cycle together so we can become more effectively contribute while building our own solutions to the customers.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to that journey, and we hope to have that conversation next year here in Singapore.
Oh, thank you very much.